Welcome back to the Random Horror Show. I am your horror podcast hostess, Keisha Lacey, and thank you for joining me for this wonderful podcast. And I got a special treat for y'all. And what if I asked you that question? When you come back to your hometown, close to your birthday, and you receive a beautiful amethyst necklace, but this necklace holds power, secrets, and evil inside of it. Ooh, I'm talking about the Brothers Curse saga book by Christine Germain. She is a wonderful, wonderful horror writer, and I am so pleased to be reviewing her book. But of course, here at the Random Horror Show, where we be commentating, being silly, goofy, random, and just throw it out there and going off on tangents. But we come back to the main point in horror, science fiction, fantasy, cult classics, and the obscure in movies, television shows, and books. And this first novel of Miss Germain is a powerhouse of like horror unimagined. And it just great pleasure of just reviewing this book. And there is 3 books out. Also, not only I'll be going over the Brothers Curse, but the second book also, like after this podcast, if we get through with the Brothers Curse. But let's get started. Well, our main protagonist, Crystal Francois, she comes back home before her birthday. After leaving off for a year, her parents are brutally murdered, and it's an unsolved mystery. So, not only that she's focusing on her studies in New York, but she is still dealing with the loss of her parents being found like gruesomely, just brutally murdered. And she has a sister named Alexandria who is staying in a Lakeview Falls, excuse me. That is a hard kind of a tongue twister, but Lakeview Falls has a very interesting history about this town. And this town has a lot of unsettling, very unnerving past. So this town is in Michigan. It has a lot of things. I mean, from unsolved murders, cold cases, but a lot of these murders consist of young men around the age of 18 and 25. Unexplainably, they have been flayed. Now, who fillets their victims like that? Could it be a madman? Could it be a serial killer? But we'll find out later on in the book. So Crystal is back home. She does not like surprise parties. She meets up with Gabby, one of her friends. So Crystal has like a really great like support group. She has like wonderful friends. She also has a boyfriend named John. John loves her to the moon and back, and she loves John also. But quite frankly, she comes back and she noticed that John is not answering his phone. She's like, wait up, hold him up, wait a minute now. What's up with homeboy? What's up with homeboy? But she's a little bit pissed off because of the way how he's been acting, so she just like whatever. But then she meets a mysterious stranger that happens to be in one of the next door neighbors' houses. His name is Jason. Jason is good looking, beautiful emerald green eyes. I mean, he is like sexy, like James Dean sexy, coming out that house and everything else. And he meets Crystal. Crystal is taken back of all his like hot hunky handsomeness. He explains that like, hey, I'm across the street, you know what I'm saying? My uncle, he, dipped out of town. I'm just watching his house. But with the girls, Alexandria and Crystal, they're thinking to themselves, that's a little odd because their neighbor never mentioned about family. and you find out that their next door neighbor, across the street neighbor, excuse me, is a single kid, single child. He's all been alone by himself, living across the street from the Francois, and that this mysterious man named Jason just happens to be inhabiting his house for the moment. So that's kind of a little bit odd right there and everything. So they just brush it off and stuff. Well, sadly, like one of the deputies who happens to be Gabby's boyfriend, he picks up a cake for Crystal. Of course, like I said, Crystal do not like surprise birthday parties, and she does not like them at all. But this is close to her birthday, and they want to make sure to cheer her up because of all the events that happened last year with her parents and her moving off to college. And he is he is murdered, and so he did not meet them up at the diner. Excuse me. While they were giving Crystal this big, huge surprise birthday party. Now Trey is Crystal's best friend, and he just adores the hell out of her. They've been like Boon Coon's aces ever since they were little kids and everything. There is a university there, Lakeview Falls University, where a lot of them go and attend college. Now, there is a professor in this particular college that teaches a course on demonology. Trey loves this class because he's very intensely like engrossed about demons. There's a clue right there of why this professor is here in Lakeview Falls and happens to be dating Crystal and Alex's aunt Jacqueline. Woo, woo, woo. So they meet up. There was a phone call at the end of like what happened to Gabby's boyfriend. They get there and on the scene, and it was really heartbreaking for Gabby to lose the man, the love of her life. Now, they have the funeral, and Gabby blames everything on Crystal. Crystal is distraught because she couldn't believe that her friend would just go through the links, because she could feel the tension and the emotions like within this part of the book, then the scene of where Gabby just unleashes everything. I mean, she is, in pain. She's dealing with the loss of the love of her life, and that she feels that Crystal is the one to blame. And of course, we all know that how people will find anything, anybody, anywho, to like blame something on a person where it was actually beyond their control. But unfortunately, there is two shape-shifting demons that are out to get Crystal, and Crystal receives a gift from Aunt Jacqueline. It is a amethyst stone. It's very beautiful and everything. And this was, given to her like a week before her birthday. So she's like, wow, this is gorgeous. She tells him like, this is like from your mother. Keep it safe, keep it on you, and things like that. Well, Jacqueline is holding some secrets back from Crystal. She does not know that her family bloodline are the courtiers, and so it dates back from decades and centuries of the courtiers who possess this necklace. And I'm going to get into that into the second segment as we talk about the second book. And Jacqueline is just trying to just keep the face, she's just trying to keep face and, not disappoint Crystal, like really, really telling her, because really it was actually Crystal's mother that's supposed to tell her the whole secret of the why their family is very important, of why they why they live in Lakeview Falls. So it has a lot of like great mystery behind that right there. So, well, Mr. John and everything is trying to explain himself of why, he has been kind of absent, with it. Crystal tries to call him. They get into a big argument at the gravesite, and she also is very distraught because, she's like, I can't believe my boyfriend's doing this. I don't want to see him again. I don't want to hear his explanation or his excuses. So Mr. Jason is like doing his job, his mission. What is his mission? His mission is to kill Crystal on her 25th birthday. Dip her blood in the necklace, because this necklace holds a very large presence of evil, which is his father, Mastema, and 24 other shape-shifting demons. And his mission fails. It really does, because guess what? He falls in love with Crystal. Jason is a half human, half shape-shifting demon, and he was actually born 200 years before Crystal was ever thought of. She wasn't even really thought of for real. But there's another brother that's on the loose, and quite frankly, this brother have always been around Crystal, but so we are like trying to figure out who is the other brother. We know that Jason is the brother that is on the mission to kill Crystal. Now he has actually fallen in love with her, and he is like struggling with that, because he's just like, I can't believe that this girl right here, this beautiful girl, she is the key of unleashing my father and all of his lieges, his liege, and his legion of shape-shifting demons to take over the world. And we also going to be reunited with him, but change of plans, because now Jason is more of, I'm going to make sure I'm going to save her. I'm going to make sure that whatever comes, I gotta stop my brother. And it's so funny, like, who the brother is, because it keeps you like in the dark who the other brother is, until you find out a lot of chapters ahead, that the brother has actually been Crystal's ex-boyfriend in high school before she got with John. And you just like, what the hell? Because there was a conversation in the library where Trey, her best friend, because he is so engrossed with learning about demons and he took the professor's class, that he goes to a Wiccan occult shop, and he asked about the book, and there's the very big importance of with the book and everything. So the shopkeeper hands him the book. She leaves town immediately. Now, I'm going to tell this right here. She has a really huge importance in the second book and everything. So when it comes down to like finding out what the hell is going on and this necklace and everything, Crystal is very upset, because now it's like, what the hell am I into? Like, I don't get it. She's like, I'm not gonna understand Crystal's like disappointment in her aunt. She really snatched them edges off her aunt when she got into with her aunt. She was pissed off beyond festivity. And I don't blame Crystal for feeling like that, because guess what? She was thrown into something she didn't ask for. She thought like this wonderful, beautiful necklace was, sentimental, coming from her late mother, that it actually is just something to hold a whole bunch of nasty, gross, like shape-shifting demons. I was like, I feel you on that, Crystal. I really feel you on your feelings about all of this and everything. So when Crystal finds out that Jason is actually a shape-shifting demon, she was like, Jesus Christ, I am still kind of like with my boyfriend, John, but then I'm madly just in love and just enticed by Jason, because it was like, this was not something that was supposed to happen. especially particular with Jason, of him just deviating from the mission and falling in love with the girl that he's supposed to kill and release his father and all of his like legions of demons. So you have like a really thick plot twist. You have like some romance with it too. There's like another character in here that she's also a big importance. Her name is Grandmother Tilly. She's the old lady that comes out and and warns Sheriff Mills when they found two other bodies on the road that they need to get away. They need to stop all this because I'm warning y'all, it's gonna be some bad shit happening if you keep poking your nose. Sheriff Mills is a very interesting character. He has like all the pressure of a lot of counties, and he's getting a really extremely bad rap, especially with his police department, because there's been so many murders that has been happening in and out, that they feel that that Sheriff Mills is incompetent. Like he cannot run his police team and also keep the citizens safe in Lakeview Falls. So he has a lot of pressure with that. He has two sons, Justin and Philip. Justin happens to be one of the deputies. Also, Derek Yin is Alexandria's boyfriend, and he's also on the deputy. He's one of the deputies with Lakeview Falls. So you have a lot of that like police work. You have like these friends. I mean, you can feel like so many emotions with all of these characters. There's characters that you love. There's characters that gets on your damn nerves, like Victoria. There's characters in here. Particularly one, I would love for you to read this because there is one character I could not stand his ass. I'm going to say this, I'm very neutral with his death. But I'm like, damn, well, bro, sorry. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, Charlie, like that. But this book right here, it has like the raw emotions of like all of your characters. You can instantly just be drawn to these characters. You can instantly relate to these people, because if you grew up in a small town, you have like your friends and things like that, and even though they all have graduated, y'all have went off to college, or you start working, you get married, you get engaged and things like that, you have that instant relation of with them, of like how, I mean, even if it doesn't have to take place in a small town, you still like feel that connection with them. Also, this book does not really take place in a timeline of like 2022 or 2021. This is actually like 3 years into the future. And that what stuck out to me about this is that it's not a book like, okay, it's still in our current time, but this is like a couple of years, like 3 or 4 years within the future, because it has a very importance of why this book takes place in 2025, because you got to pay attention to the dates of this, so you go, oh, okay, I see why. The biggest like thing I love about it is that Miss Germain actually, like, I'm just gonna say it, Miss Germain in the beginning of the book, she describes shapeshifter demons. Now, we do have books, things like that, that actually have talked about their character, or like the villain, or supernatural, or whatever like that. Sometimes we have to put it like two and two together, like, oh, okay, so we can figure out through the book. But she actually is direct of explaining what a shape-shifting demon is, so we can be ready for that action to see some shapeshifter demon shit in this book. And I'm telling you, it is literally macabre. The gore is beautiful. I mean, it does not let up one bit in this book. Now you do have a little bit of okay breaks, but this is like the beginning of this saga. And also the prologue and everything, like I said, pay attention to the dates. Okay, pay attention to the dates in this book. um she describes like their father Mastema, and like when you read it, you're just like, oh my gosh, like this Mastema dude is just, he's like, this dude is like better than Freddy Krueger, more vicious than Michael Myers. I mean, shit. I mean, he even make Pinhead, and Pinhead is one of my favorite villains. He makes Pinhead look like shit, look like small potatoes and everything. Cause Mastema is like a badass motherfucker in this damn book. He's gonna be coming through real strong with the quickness. I mean, you talking about Mastema is cold. He colder than a fan. He colder than a polar bear toenail in the second book. And when I'm gonna dip into that and everything in the second segment, but damn, I mean, you get that intro about who Mastema is, and you just like, ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait to like to meet Mastema. I can't wait to like meet these like twin half human demon brothers and stuff. Ooh, but I really do like their prologue, and it sets the mood, it sets the pacing, it sets everything up. So you as a reader is not going to be sitting there flipping back and getting confused, or you're like, I don't understand this part. So she's really setting you up for you to like just be voraciously in just entertained, to be scared, to laugh, to cry, to be in total fright, to where it's nothing but a page turner, where you're going to have to like take like a 10-15 minute break to get you some water. You may need to smoke a cigarette, and you may have to roll you up a blunt or take you a gummy or something because this is like one of those saga books. This is the first book that it didn't disappoint me at all. It really didn't. And it's very great to like, this is her debut novel, and it's really, really great to like read this book to where you just like, gimme more, more, more. This is not the end of what's like the end of everything. Now, I'm just letting y'all know, she does not disappoint with the kills. She does not even disappoint like with the description of how I feel so bad for like Trey. Trey was caught by the other demon, and oh my gosh, poor baby, poor Trey. I mean, oh my god, you just gotta read it. It's gruesome. It is literally gruesome how Trey was captured and treated, and it is, oh, my heart still breaks for Trey. It really do in this first book. And she does not let up whatsoever, because she's giving you the real deal of how these demons are, how they flay their victims. The victims, like I said, they're men, and this is how they shapeshift their physical features to fit in. And of course, when they shed or they get ready to like leave that vessel, they go and kill another young man. And instead of like the usual of like you have female victims, and mostly in horror books and horror movies and stuff like that, you have young men. And I was like, okay, this is a this is a real like interesting one right there, because a lot of times, sometimes like when people write horror and they particularly like have like a supernatural creature or a demon or anything of like that nature, they zone in like on the women. And I was just like, you know what? Fair game, let's do the men and everything. So I like that. I really like it. I mean, even like down to the book itself. Now I have it on Kindle, but I know that the paperback and the hardback book, because I love the design of like the crow on top of the skull. And I mean, when I like was just zooming through and just like going through every chapter, it has that Edgar Allan Poe feel, especially with the raven. And there's like this raven sitting on a skull. And I was like, ooh, that is like some throwback Edgar Allan Poe. I love that. I really love it. It's really beautiful. I mean, it's just beautiful. It really is. And I like it when you have an author, especially when turn a page, chapter one, chapter two, and it has like the title of each chapter, but you see this little image of like the raven on top of the skull, and it's just like, gosh, it's nothing going to be dread and evil, and just something you can sink your teeth into. And it just gives you that visual of knowing that this story is not a happy one. It's not a happy one. And kudos to like Miss Germain for like giving us really great horror, especially with demons. It also has witchcraft in it, especially with hoodoo and voodoo in it. The characters, like I said, are just mwah, chef's kiss. You can easily like just see yourself as either or of the character. I know when I was reading it, I felt a little bit like Crystal, but also a little bit like Simone. And Simone is a very intriguing character herself. She and Justin have like this, unrequited love for each other. But like in the second book, it will be known. And I love that. Like I said, you have romance, you have supernatural, you have demons. I mean, just effing everybody up in here. You have lots of deaths. So you better hold on tight and don't be sitting there bitching out reading this book. You better take this shit long and strong while you read The Brother's Curse. And that is it for this segment. We are going to be going into the second book, and this is the Random Horror Show.